Power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely by Lord Acton. Good evening everyone, we're here to discuss a case study with regards to Siemens bribery scandal. But before we proceed to the presentation of our case study, let me just give you an overview what bribery means. It's the act, offer or receipt of any gift, loan, fee, reward, or other advantage to or from any person as an inducement to do something which is dishonest, illegal, or a breach of trust in the conduct of the business enterprises. So let me give you the background of the case. Siemens AG is a German energy technology and manufacturing, a multinational conglomerate and the largest industrial manufacturing company in Europe. It was founded over 170 years ago from now and deploys about 380,000 employees as of 2021 based on my research, and at revenues in excess of about 80 billion, which is a 16.26% increase from 2020. It also developed a corrupt organizational culture in which hundreds of millions of euros were put into slush funds that were then used to beg bribes in order to obtain lucrative contracts or win bids. In November 2006, Siemens auditors completed a confidential report that detailed a number of payments that were impossible to verify. They could not identify who received the money or what services were provided. The suspicious payments made from 2000 to 2006, which totaled about 1.4 billion euros. Various senior executives were accused of committing bribery, and these executives were prosecuted and for that were obliged to pay 1.6 billion fines to settle legal suits by 2008 in December. And now let's proceed to the major problem of the Siemens company. And it's said to be that Siemens managers creating slush funds be used for contracts, kickbacks, and to give bribes to their business partners and to some government officials to penetrate new markets and win bids. The expectation of corporate managers is to maximize the returns of investors and at the same time comply with the regulatory standards. In addition, it should avoid conflict of interest and enhance the company's reputational capital. Currently, there are arrests of top managers, indicating increasing failure of responsible management and corporate irresponsibility that has eroded the global and domestic trust of markets in US and all over the world. According to Georgie 2009, senior managers were using removable notes to allow documents that were potentially incriminating. Also, we consider some employees were exposed and have given good payoffs in order to keep the company's unlawful activities hidden as a part of their problem. Siemens was ashamed by the scandal, not just before the angry investors and shareholders but also the citizens of Germany. In addition, most employees felt humiliated. The company's trustworthiness was greatly scrutinized. Its integrity was questioned and also the act of the management to tolerate the said practices. But the basic competence of the board was questioned by a leading shareholders group for how it handled the affair. So now let's proceed to the alternative courses of action.
This is our ACAS or alternative course of action. The first one is create a permanent system that will detect and prevent any illegal and unethical practices to the company. So, why it was rejected? Why? Because as we all know, creating a system is not easy and it takes a lot of time to create a system for the company, and we all know that during that time, way back 2014, technology is not advanced enough to create a system immediately. So we assume, our group assumed that that's the reason why it was rejected during that time. Provide training program to the employees regarding anti-corruption and compliance in the global business that aim at detecting, responding, and evaluating the risk while interacting with clients and suppliers. So, regarding this one, it was rejected because it will take a lot of time also. Because just imagine providing another trainings for the employees, and we don't know how many employees they had to conduct a training program for them for anti-corruption. And also we don't know who will learn and who will not, who will apply it and who will not. So we also assume that this second ACAS will not effective enough to is not effective enough to be the solution of their problem. Number 3, the company should enact a new set of rules, guidelines, policies, and processes throughout the whole organization. This one, we also assume that it will take also a lot of time because they will back to zero. They will revise all of their rules, guidelines, and policies for that specific problem, and it will not affect because we also don't know who among the employees will follow it, right? We don't know who will apply it on their company. So this one is not effective also enough to be the solution on the problem.
To avoid a repeat of situation, they should hire and appoint members of a law firm and a accountant who will mandate the acts of employee and management in order to apply openness and trustworthiness in order to avoid minor and serious crimes. Also, I propose a action that they should at least encourage employee or make a mandatory attendance in a seminar about how to prevent and avoid bribery and corruption in the organization, and issue a certificate of proof that they attend and conduct a test or examination about it if they really learn something from the seminar. Make the certificate requirements for a salary increase or a possible promotion. That's all.
So our recommendation in this study, the most viable solution is creating a permanent system that will detect and prevent any illegal or unethical practices in the company. To realize this solution, the company should make a software system that will track any transaction created within the company as well as its business partners. Any form of discrepancy, traces of provocation, or any transaction that may harm the interest of the company should be reported to the government authority. According to this study, we need to establish a permanent system that will detect and prevent any illegal or unethical acts of the business, so that this problem will not be repeated in our company. To implement the solution, the company will need to develop a software or a new system that will track all transactions made within the organization or a company as well as its business partners. Any irregularities, traces of fabrication, or transaction that may treated the company's interest should be notified to the appropriate authorities. We must always have control our transaction so that we really know that our company is running smoothly.
If the company is worried about the possibility of a data breach, the company should always keep the system updated and make sure that there are no loopholes to prevent it from happening. In a case of hacking and data corruption, the data should always be backed up to halt it from occurring. There should always be a standby professional that is ready to take action for any instances that may take place, especially if its case may affect the system.
As for the third recommendation, the specific strategy that they will do is to implement an anti-corruption law that will be discussed during the training, so that before they see the actual process of the business, they also need to know that they need to follow to the policy, and also to let them know and let them understand the appropriate behavior in that specific workplace. And if I will be the person who will experience or encounter a bribery, I will notify the superior or a person in authority immediately so that they will know what kind of situation is happening on the company, and to also to let them plans to what's the next steps they should do, and also so that the situation will not get worsened.
A failure of responsible management takes several years to be resolved and can be very costly and debilitating. It implies that it is essential to invest proactively in implementing an organizational system that support and encourage conducts that are trustworthy. A system like this cannot rely on structures, procedures, and rules alone, but should also consider the company's norms and cultural values that guide the manager's behaviors and decision-making on a daily basis. Just like dealing with procedures or structures that are deficient, removing cultural practices and values that are deviant is important for organizational resilience against responsible management failures. To dismiss developing scandals is considered as incompetent and self-serving. It also tends to violate further the trust, compounding the previous problem. According to Xerox 2013, the best action is to acknowledge the alleged accusations and share the available facts, and then the company should then start an independent and urgent inquiry. Overall, it is essential to invest proactively in implementing an organizational system that support and encourage conducts that are trustworthy, and will also consider the company's norms and cultural values that will guide the whole employees towards their behaviors and decision making on a daily basis to prevent management failure.